Where will the Antichrist rise? The book of Revelation says it all.
Everyone knows the Antichrist comes from the Roman Empire. Every prophecy teacher for the last century has said it. The beast rises from Rome, Europe, the revived Roman Empire, the European Union, 10 nations, Brussels, the Vatican. But here's what almost everyone misses. Daniel 9:26 says this, "And after 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off, but not for himself. And the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary." The people of the prince, not the prince himself, the people. So who destroyed Jerusalem and the temple in 70 AD? Rome, the Roman legions under Titus. That's the people. But here's the question nobody asks. Where did those soldiers actually come from? History records that Titus commanded legions recruited primarily from Syria, Arabia, and Egypt, Middle Eastern conscripts under Roman command. The empire stretched from Britain to Mesopotamia. The soldiers who burned the temple weren't from Italy. They were from the provinces, the eastern provinces. The people of the prince that shall come, Middle Eastern peoples under imperial authority. Now look at what Daniel 9:27 says happens next. "And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week, and in the midst of the week he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease." He confirms a covenant, not makes, not creates, confirms, strengthens, expands, takes an existing agreement and adds to it. With many, multiple parties, a multilateral agreement. For 1 week, 7 years in prophetic terms. And in the middle, he breaks it by stopping Jewish worship. This isn't about Europe. This is about the Middle East. This is about Israel. This is about a peace agreement that gets strengthened, expanded, confirmed. An agreement that sounds exactly like something signed in Washington, D.C. in 2020. But we'll get to that, because the first location the Antichrist rises from will shock you. Revelation 13:1 describes the moment the Antichrist emerges onto the world stage. "And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy." A beast rising out of the sea. Everyone assumes this means the Mediterranean, the sea that Rome controlled. But John doesn't say which sea, he says the sea, the ocean. And he says something else that most people overlook. "And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion." 3 animals: leopard, bear, lion. These are the same 3 beasts from Daniel 7. Greece, Persia, Babylon. Eastern empires, not Western. The 4th beast in Daniel, Rome, swallowed them all. But this final beast in Revelation has characteristics of all 3 predecessors. East and West combined. Old world and new world merged. And there's one location on earth where that merger is symbolized in stone and copper: the Statue of Liberty. Now, before you dismiss this, consider what that statue represents. A woman holding a torch, standing on an island, rising from the sea, welcoming people from every nation. The New Colossus, the poem at its base, literally calls it Mother of Exiles. Revelation 17 describes a woman who sits on the beast, a woman who rules over peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. Mystery Babylon, the great city that reigns over the kings of the earth. Could the Statue of Liberty represent the spirit of the system the Antichrist uses to rise? A symbol of globalism, open borders, multinational power, economic dominance? New York, the financial capital of the world. The United Nations headquarters, the melting pot of every nation, the city that never sleeps, the Empire City. And in 2025, something happened there that nobody's talking about. A digital currency pilot program launched in New York in partnership with the Federal Reserve. The infrastructure for economic control going live in the city of the woman standing in the harbor. But that's just where the system emerges. The Antichrist himself rises somewhere else.
Let's talk about Jared Kushner, President Trump's senior advisor, his son-in-law, and the architect of the Abraham Accords. In September 2020, Kushner brokered a historic peace agreement between Israel and the United Arab Emirates, then Bahrain, then Sudan, then Morocco. 4 Arab nations normalizing relations with Israel for the first time. The Abraham Accords, a covenant with many. Now, listen to Daniel 9:27 again. And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. Confirm, not create. The Antichrist doesn't make the original agreement. He takes an existing framework and strengthens it, expands it, adds provisions that change everything. In May 2025, reports surfaced that the Abraham Accords framework is being expanded to include temple access provisions, a pathway for Jewish worship on the Temple Mount, under international oversight with guarantees from the signatory nations plus the European Union. This hasn't been officially announced. Negotiations are happening behind closed doors in Abu Dhabi and Riyadh, but leaked documents describe something called the Comprehensive Middle East Peace Framework, an expansion of the Abraham Accords that would include Palestinian statehood with East Jerusalem as a capital, Israeli sovereignty over the Western Wall and Jewish Quarter, international administration of the Temple Mount, guaranteed access for Jewish worship at specific times, and a 7-year implementation timeline. 7 years, 1 prophetic week. Now, I'm not saying Jared Kushner is the Antichrist. I'm not saying Trump is. I'm saying the framework exists. The covenant with many has been created. It's sitting there waiting to be confirmed, strengthened, expanded. And whoever adds the final provisions, whoever guarantees Jewish worship, whoever brokers the temple access agreement, that person steps into the role Daniel described 2,500 years ago. But here's what's even more significant. Look at where Kushner has invested since leaving the White House. In 2022, Jared Kushner's investment firm, Affinity Partners, received $2 billion from Saudi Arabia's sovereign wealth fund. Since then, he's invested heavily in Middle Eastern real estate, technology, and development projects, including properties in Jerusalem. Why does that matter? Because Jerusalem is the second location, the operational headquarters, the place where the Antichrist must ultimately stand. Matthew 24:15 records Jesus warning his disciples, "When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place. Whoso readeth, let him understand. Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains." The abomination of desolation, standing in the holy place. This happens in Jerusalem, on the Temple Mount, in or near the temple itself. 2 Thessalonians 2:3-4 expands on this. "Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, shewing himself that he is God." He sits in the temple of God. He declares himself God. This is the ultimate blasphemy, the final desecration, and it happens in Jerusalem. But here's what makes 2025 different from every other year in modern history. For the first time since 70 AD, the infrastructure for this to happen is being put in place. The Abraham Accords expansion includes provisions for rebuilding, not the full temple, not yet, but an altar, a place of sacrifice under the framework of religious freedom and cultural heritage restoration. International peacekeepers are being positioned in Jerusalem under the guise of protecting holy sites. The United Nations passed Resolution 2783 in November 2024, authorizing a multinational stabilization force in East Jerusalem with a renewable mandate. Renewable for how long? The initial authorization is for 7 years. There's that number again, 7. The same span as the expanded Abraham Accords implementation, the same duration as Daniel's 70th week. The covenant and the city, aligned, ready, waiting for someone to step forward. But there's a third location, and this one involves money.
Revelation 18 describes the economic capital of the Antichrist system, a city the Bible calls Mystery Babylon. Listen to what it says. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise any more. For in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught. A city of merchants, global trade, incredible wealth, and sudden destruction. For centuries, scholars assumed this meant Rome, or a rebuilt Babylon on the Euphrates in Iraq. But in the last 20 years, a new candidate has emerged. Dubai, the fastest growing city in human history, built from desert sand in less than 50 years. A gleaming metropolis of impossible skyscrapers rising from nothing. The commercial hub connecting east and west, where merchants from every nation gather. And here's what's significant about Dubai in 2025. The city just became the beta testing ground for the world's first fully integrated digital currency system. The Dubai Digital Dirham launched in March 2025 in partnership with the International Monetary Fund and the Bank for International Settlements. Every transaction tracked, every purchase recorded. A completely cashless economy where every resident has a digital wallet linked to biometric identification. Sound familiar? Revelation 13:16 through 17. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. No man might buy or sell without the mark. Total economic control. Dubai is the testing ground, the proof of concept, the city showing the world that a completely controlled digital economy works. And the Abraham Accords? They were signed in Dubai, the headquarters of the framework that might become the covenant with many is in the United Arab Emirates. 3 locations: New York for the global system, Jerusalem for religious authority, Dubai for economic control. But there's something that ties them all together. For 2,000 years, Revelation 13's prophecy seemed impossible. How could anyone control all buying and selling across the entire world? How could every transaction require a mark? The technology didn't exist. Until now. Central bank digital currencies, CBDCs. Over 130 countries are currently developing them. The European Union launched the digital euro pilot in 2024. China's digital yuan is already mandatory in major cities. The US Federal Reserve has a digital dollar in testing phases. And they're all designed to be interoperable. One global system. But here's what makes it a mark of the beast system. The technology requires biometric authentication, facial recognition, fingerprint scanning, iris scanning, or subdermal chips. Sweden has already implanted microchips in over 6,000 citizens for payment purposes. A chip in the hand that lets you buy coffee, ride the train, unlock doors. Voluntary for now. The World Economic Forum published a paper in 2024 titled "The Future of Digital Identity" that advocates for mandatory biometric identification linked to all financial transactions by 2030. Mandatory, biometric, financial control. Mark in the right hand or forehead, can't buy or sell without it. And where was the global pilot program for this technology announced? The World Government Summit in Dubai in February 2025. The pieces are converging. The locations are ready. The technology exists. The covenant framework is prepared. But here's the question. Is there a specific person we can point to? Is the Antichrist already on the world stage? I'm not going to name names. I'm not going to accuse anyone of being the man of sin. But I am going to show you what to watch for, because the Bible gives us a profile, a description, a checklist of characteristics. And some of those characteristics are showing up in unexpected places. Daniel 11 gives us the most detailed description of the Antichrist's character and methods in all of Scripture. Listen to verses 21 to 23. And in his estate shall stand up a vile person, to whom they shall not give the honor of the kingdom, but he shall come in peaceably, and obtain the kingdom by flatteries. And with the arms of a flood shall they be overflown from before him, and shall be broken, yea, also the prince of the covenant. And after the league made with him, he shall work deceitfully. For he shall come up, and shall become strong with a small people. Let me break down that profile. A vile person, morally corrupt but charismatic, to whom they shall not give the honor of the kingdom. He's not from a traditional ruling dynasty. He's an outsider, not expected to gain power. He shall come in peaceably, not through military conquest at first, through diplomacy, peace deals. Obtain the kingdom by flatteries, smooth words, persuasion, manipulation. He's a deal maker. He shall work deceitfully. After the league is made, after the covenant is confirmed, he breaks it. He's a covenant breaker. He shall become strong with a small people. He rises with a minority coalition, not the majority. Now, I'm not applying this to anyone specific, but I want you to think about the leaders on the world stage right now. Think about who fits this profile. Who is a political outsider? Who makes deals? Who uses flattery and persuasion? Who has a loyal minority base? Think about who has family connections to the Middle East. Who has business interests in Jerusalem? Who has negotiated peace agreements in the region? And ask yourself, if that person or someone like them were to confirm the Abraham Accords, to strengthen the covenant, to add the temple provisions, would anyone be surprised? The framework exists, the locations are ready, and people who fit the profile are already in motion. But there's one more sign, and this one just happened in 2025.
Let me show you what's happened in just the last 8 months. These aren't theories. These aren't speculation. These are documented events. January 2025. Saudi Arabia announces it will normalize relations with Israel if temple access provisions are added to the Abraham Accords. Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman calls it a comprehensive solution. February 2025. The World Government Summit in Dubai unveils the Global Digital Identity Framework. 43 nations sign a Memorandum of Understanding to implement interoperable biometric payment systems by 2028. March 2025. A 10-nation Mediterranean Security Pact is signed in Rome. 10 nations: Italy, Greece, Spain, France, Egypt, Turkey, Cyprus, Israel, Malta, and Morocco create a unified naval command to protect shipping lanes and ensure regional stability. April 2025. The EU announces mandatory digital ID wallets for all citizens by 2027. Every EU resident will have a digital ID linked to banking, healthcare, and government services. May 2025. Leaked documents reveal negotiations for expanded Abraham Accords include a 7-year implementation timeline with temple access beginning in Year 4. Year 4, the midpoint, exactly when Daniel says the sacrifice and offering cease, when the abomination of desolation occurs. June 2025. Jerusalem experiences the largest earthquake in recorded history. A 5.8 magnitude quake centered beneath the Mount of Olives causes no deaths but creates structural concerns about the Temple Mount's stability. July 2025. The United Nations Security Council passes a resolution authorizing international oversight of Jerusalem holy sites with a 7-year renewable mandate. August 2025. Jared Kushner's investment firm announces a $3 billion development project in Jerusalem's International Quarter. The project includes interfaith dialogue centers and cultural heritage preservation sites. Do you see the pattern? Every month, every location, every piece falling into place. The covenant framework, the city prepared, the economic system ready, the technology deployed, the timeline matching Scripture. For the first time in 2,000 years, all 3 locations are simultaneously positioned. New York's digital currency infrastructure, Jerusalem's international oversight, Dubai's cashless economy, the beast rising from the sea, the prince standing in the holy place, the merchants of Babylon trading with the mark. And it's all happening right now, in 2025, in our lifetime. But here's what you need to understand. This isn't about fear. This isn't about panic. This is about preparation. Because if we're this close to the Antichrist's appearance, we're even closer to something else. If the Antichrist is preparing to rise, if the locations are ready, if the covenant is about to be confirmed, then the rapture is closer than most people think. Because the Antichrist can't be revealed until the restrainer is removed. 2 Thessalonians 2, 6-7 says, "And now ye know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work, only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way." Something is restraining the Antichrist, holding him back. And when that restrainer is removed, taken out of the way, then the man of sin is revealed. Most scholars believe the restrainer is the Holy Spirit working through the church. When the church is raptured, the restraint is lifted. The Antichrist emerges. So if we're seeing the stage being set, if the infrastructure is being built, if the locations are ready, then the rapture must be imminent. Watch Jerusalem. Watch for covenant confirmations. Watch for temple access agreements. Watch for the expansion of the Abraham Accords. Watch New York. Watch for mandatory digital currency rollouts. Watch for the elimination of cash. Watch Dubai. Watch for the globalization of the digital economy system being tested there. 3 locations, 3 systems, one Antichrist. The Bible told us where he would rise. We just weren't looking in the right places. We were focused on ancient Rome, while the real empire was being built in the Middle East. We were watching Europe, while the economic control system launched in Arabia. We were expecting a military conqueror, while a dealmaker was brokering covenants. But now the pieces are visible, the locations are ready, the technology exists, the players are in position. And there's one more location nobody's watching, a fourth center of power that the Antichrist will use to consolidate control. A city on 7 hills that isn't Rome. Constantinople, modern-day Istanbul, Turkey, the bridge between civilizations. And in 2025, Turkey just did something that changes everything. But that's a revelation for another time. The clock is ticking, the stage is set, and time is running out.